Hello, Brooklyn. My name is Julia Weeks, and I am one of your hosts of Navy Yard Neighbor Brooklyn. We are a neighborhood beat highlighting local people and places to create community and belonging at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. We have a really exciting show for you tonight. My co-host and my partner, Isra Pananon, will be doing some backstage production work in StreamYard. But again, we have a great guest. We have co-founder and executive director Tommy Safian of Refoundry on with us. And just a little bit of a quick intro. I met Tommy when Isra and myself did a tour of Refoundry that was actually put on by one of our first guests on the program, Turnstile Tours. So they do kind of these monthly tours of different vendors and businesses in the Navy Yard. And so we got to go and see what Refoundry was all about. We got to meet Tommy, some of the folks in the program, and see their workshop and just learn about their mission. And we loved it so much, we want to share it with all of you. So if you'll please give me a warm welcome, we're going to bring Tommy on right now. Hi, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Great. So how are you? I mean, you know, we kind of start out like this, just asking you, how are you doing during this time? How is your family? Tell us what's going on.
Well, thank you. Been very fortunate, all things considered. My family's generally doing very well. Work has remained really busy, engaging, and impactful. So I'm thankful for that. I hope you all have been safe and healthy.
Yes, we've been safe and healthy too. So certainly just counting our blessings, and happy to be in New York, and just happy to be celebrating the neighborhood. So we want to kind of get right to it. We want you to introduce yourself and tell people who you are and what you do.
So my name's Tommy Safian. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Refoundry, which is a new startup organization in criminal justice. And our mission is to provide formerly incarcerated people with the skills and opportunities to achieve financial independence and become leaders and job creators in our communities.
That's wonderful. Well, we want to share with people what you guys are all about. So you were just featured on a Pix 11 news segment. So I am going to show folks that right now so they can get a bit more of an idea of what you guys do at Refoundry. So let me pull that up.
If I can, this story is about what we're doing now during COVID-19. It's not
exactly
normal or usual programming.
Yes, great. Thank you for that addition. So let me just share our screen, and we will get to it.
We change. The Refoundry gives formerly incarcerated people a second chance. The organization all about helping make change. And tonight they're giving back in a special way to take care of people behind bars during the pandemic.
Changemakers, brought to you by Adapt Community Network, empowering people through innovative solutions one person at a time. We change.
Giving people a second chance by providing skills and opportunity. That's a mission of Refoundry, created by Tommy Safian and Cisco Panito.
We train formerly incarcerated people to repurpose discarded materials into home furnishings and mentor them into their own businesses or career track jobs.
The program involves 3 stages over the period of a year. So far, 10 businesses have been born with the help of Refoundry, giving jobs to more than 125 people. We first learned about the Refoundry back in 2016.
So as they're imbuing these materials with new value, they're feeling they're imbuing themselves with new value.
When I spoke with Tommy at their location in the Brooklyn Navy Yard.
Now, though, you're adding something else as a result of the pandemic and COVID-19.
Well, we were forced by COVID-19 to put our on-site programming on hiatus. So we launched something called Makers Make Masks that enlists formerly incarcerated people who were homebound because of the pandemic to help combat a public health crisis by sewing reusable, washable masks for the most vulnerable people in our society, the incarcerated and the homeless.
These masks are being donated to homeless support services in Los Angeles and Rikers Island here in New York, where more than 850 masks have already been delivered. With the help of grants and donations, Refoundry set up 20 formerly incarcerated workers with the sewing machines, pre-cut fabrics, technical support, and training.
So this is a sample of the mask. This is the inside, which is a softer fabric. It's thick but breathable.
How important is it for the people who are actually doing the sewing and were formerly incarcerated to understand how needed they are?
This provides people with the opportunity to demonstrate their value to themselves and to their communities and to society. And it really does mean a lot.
Well, thank you so much. Well, once the pandemic ends, Tommy says Refoundry plans on launching a second location in Los Angeles and also moving into a new space at the Brooklyn Navy Yard as well. He says they expect to have around 45 formerly incarcerated people training at each one of their locations when they're able to relaunch.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you for doing that interview with Tamsin, and thanks to the folks for hanging in there while we showed it to people. So we just want to learn a little bit more about you, about Refoundry. Kind of the first question is, how did you get, interested, passionate about criminal justice reform and helping formerly incarcerated people?
Well, thank you for showing the video, and thank you for that question. The Refoundry was co-founded by myself and a longtime friend and colleague, Cisco Pinedo, who's based out in Los Angeles. And we did not have criminal justice on our radar. We're in the furniture business. And I was called in to consult to help a reentry organization. At the time, I didn't know what a reentry organization did. It's an organization that helps people coming home from incarceration to reacclimate into society. And they wanted to open a social enterprise in furniture. They hired me as a consultant, and I brought in Cisco as an advisor. And like most Americans, we knew that the criminal justice system was dysfunctional, but we really had no idea how bad it was, particularly on the post-incarceration side, where very few people get jobs, or even less get living wage jobs. 75% return to incarceration. And we just saw a tremendous amount of waste, and not a lot of innovation, and not a lot of private sector principles that we thought could benefit and improve the process. So we founded Refoundry with the intention of bringing our experience, craft, commerce, and entrepreneurship to this community, and then bringing in partners with the expertise that we didn't have.
We love that. We just love your mission and what you do. How long have you been at the Brooklyn Navy Yard? I know you said you started out in Los Angeles, but what was kind of your journey and trajectory towards the space that you're in now at the Navy Yard?
So we started out in a space at Fortune Society, another large reentry organization in Queens. And we had gotten some press about what we were doing. And the Navy Yard contacted us and invited us to relocate there to a much larger space, which we did. That was back in early 2016, and we completed our pilot there. And we are now, we were expecting to relaunch in earlier this year, but the pandemic put all that on hiatus. And we hope to be able to relaunch the full program at the Navy Yard right above Wegmans in the early to mid-fall, serving 3 cohorts of 12 to 15 people a year.
Wonderful. And so how long has the workshop in the Navy Yard? It's been closed prior to the pandemic, or just kind of in March as the pandemic started? I know you guys are moving space, like you said, you're moving spaces at the Navy Yard.
Right. Well, we had our pilot at the Navy Yard. Once the pilot was completed, we had to raise funds.
Got it.
Launch the full program. So that took some time.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've raised those funds enough to start the program here in New York. In Los Angeles, we started in August, But again, the pandemic has put that on hold. So
yeah, the pandemic's put a dent in a lot of people's plans, unfortunately. So we hope that that's, moving out the door shortly. Fingers crossed, knocking on wood for the vaccine. How many people actually graduated from the pilot program then in the Navy Yard? How many were in that class?
We had seven people in Los Angeles, 5 people in Brooklyn.
Great. And can you tell our viewers who are just really watching from everywhere? It seems we have viewers tuning in from Florida, from Memphis, from Philadelphia, from Ramsey, New Jersey. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Please share this broadcast. If you haven't already, click the like on Facebook, share it, spread the word. So yeah, can you tell us, what are the graduates doing currently? Do you still keep in contact with them? Kind of, more about Refoundry's mission.
So we do keep in touch with all our pilot graduates and support them. Right now, all of them are homebound. So in New York, we've had participants. Our goal is to get participants into starting their own business in their own communities and providing opportunity and economic development in those communities. However, not everyone wants to take that path. So some of our participants are working in other businesses both in for-profit and not-for-profit. In Los Angeles, most everybody went into their own business from the pilot, and those businesses are all doing very well, but again, contracting now during this economic crisis brought on by COVID-19.
Excellent. And, kind of to touch on what you're saying, as far as, you had a huge, well, I think it's huge, but I think your space that you're moving into will be certainly bigger, but just a really nice woodworking space over at the Navy Yard where people would, where participants of the program would learn to use this wood. And so it's imperfect wood, and they would just make these beautiful pieces of furniture. And it was just a really incredible process. I know, like I was saying kind of in the introduction, we met through Turnstile Tours because I believe they were giving an open house of your space. And I just fell in love not only with the furniture, but with the craftsmen, with the people who were making the goods. So how does that, work, that these formerly incarcerated people find out about the program and they submit an application?
Yeah, well, we recruit from other reentry organizations in New York who do a very good job welcoming people back home, setting them up with the social services they're eligible for, things like that, helping them get housing. And we recruit from those places. We do have an interview process. We invest a lot in people. This program is anywhere from 3 months to a year, and we pay people living wages. It's a full time. And so we want that investment that we put into people, and for them, the investment they put into Refoundry, to pay off. So there is a recruitment process. It's not for everybody. And we really focus on craft, commerce, and entrepreneurship. In craft, and there's a 10-point life skills program as well, that we have a lot of partners come in and provide great help. So for example, Shake Shack helps provide hospitality training, and the Moth will help us with building narratives and public speaking for people. And we concentrate on craft because we feel it's just part of being a human being, working with your hands and making things. It's how we got from banging a stick on the ground to where we are today in a relatively short amount of time. And we train people to make home furnishings out of discarded, salvaged materials. And we do that for 3 reasons. 1, it's less expensive. 2, it's environmentally responsible. And three, it has particular impact for our participants who describe themselves often as feeling like garbage, as feeling discarded and thrown away by society. So when they take material that other people have said has no value and have thrown away, and they use their own industry, creativity, and purpose to put value into that, to make something of value, it has real meaning and impact for them. And then when they go out into the world and the marketplace and they show that material, those pieces that they've made, and sell it, it brings them a sense of accomplishment, self-esteem, and status that they didn't really have before. And the space of that transaction is really kind of the linchpin of the program in a lot of ways, because when you have a transaction, it's a mutual recognition of value that's objective. If it's not objective, it doesn't happen. So when that transaction happens, very often in our program, hand-to-hand, face-to-face, between two people who don't have a lot of contact in our society, who very often have stereotypical, denigrating views of each other, it helps build, creates the space to build a recognition of common interests, empathy, familiarity, all the building blocks of community. And so as impactful as that process is for our participants, it's often equally impactful for their customers.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I can just tell you firsthand, I know you had shown some of the furniture at the Brooklyn Flea. You sell some furniture that participants have made at ABC Furniture. I don't know if that furniture store is still there. We're going to show actually a link to your store right now where you can see some of the stuff that folks have made. I mean, it's just incredible because it is real. It feels artisanal almost, but like you said, it's better for the environment. It's just such a wonderful cause, and you know that it's made with love and made by actual people, which I think goes a long way. So I just want to pull up the online store and share with people. Can you tell what vendors though do sell the stuff?
Well, in our pilots, we really concentrated on flea markets, selling face to face. So we worked with Brooklyn Flea, who donated space for us, and we sold mostly through that venue. These pieces here were made in the Los Angeles program, and they're featured in online sales right now. Because of COVID, they're really only available in the LA area.
I see.
But once things lift, we'll start again selling at flea markets, selling to other stores, and continue online on our platform and on other platforms.
Just such beautiful pieces of work and craftsmanship. I'm curious, when participants come into the program, do they have any previous like woodworking skills, craftsman skills, or is it new to them, or have they done some of this maybe while they've been incarcerated, or is it both?
Some have done things have had this experience while they're incarcerated. There are wood shops and welding shops and sewing shops inside some prisons, but they don't need that experience. We teach that, and we like that. Teaching the production often mirrors a lot of what they're learning in the life skills and vice versa. So it's a very integrative program in that way. And the participants really seem to absorb and appreciate a lot of the life skills we're teaching as they see it reflected in the production education they're getting, and vice versa.
Great. Well, I know we've kind of touched on this, how the coronavirus has impacted Refoundry since your workshops are shut down. So people are no longer, creating and making these beautiful crafts. So you guys have kind of transitioned into mask making, like we saw at the top of the half hour with the video. So if you could tell people, how did that kind of evolve? Where are those masks being distributed? I guess people are making them at home. We'd just love to hear about that.
Yeah, so thank you for that question. Yeah, we our programs, our full programs will have woodworking, welding, and sewing. And you can't obviously do that. It's a very hands-on program. So COVID kind of threw a wrench in that. And we anticipated pretty early that COVID was going to be a big problem. So before the shutdown, we had moved people to remote learning, and we were able to teach them and inform them about what they were eligible for, all the safety things. So fortunately, none of our participants or graduates have come down with the virus. But we had to think of something else that they could do. And with a grant from JP Morgan Chase and further support from Brooklyn Community Foundation and Robin Hood Foundation, we were able to create a program where we could send homebound participants sewing machines, materials, technical support for those who needed it, and we got volunteer mentors for instruction to sew masks, as we knew that this was a great need, and a particular need in incarcerated communities and in homeless communities. So the masks that are being made are being donated through a partnership in New York, through a partnership with the New York City Department of Corrections, to people working and people who are incarcerated at Rikers Island. In Los Angeles, we're distributing them through a partner, Shower of Hope, to homeless people who are experiencing homelessness.
That's so important. Do you know how many people at Rikers Island have contracted the coronavirus?
That information is not generally made public. A lot of states, in fact, don't even, when they report their infections, don't include their incarcerated population. So it's really an unknown, but we do know that because of the close quarters where social distancing is not possible, because of the hygiene restrictions there, that it is a serious problem. And every mask that's produced and distributed saves lives. So our participants here really feel that they're contributing to a society-wide problem and helping people from their own community, people who are incarcerated as they formerly were.
That's incredible. It really is. I mean, they are giving back so much, and they are essential. I mean, the people who make the mask are certainly essential workers. So we want to thank them and thank you for the work that you're doing, because it is it's so important right now.
All the fabric is remnant fabric that's donated by Cisco Home and Cisco Manufacturing in Los Angeles and shipped here and used in LA. And all the masks are fabric. They're reusable, they're washable, and I believe ours are the first and maybe the only fabric masks that have gotten into Rikers Island.
Wow, that's incredible. Are the masks also for sale for individuals? Say if I wanted to buy a mask, or if someone watching wanted to buy a mask?
Right now, we're really dedicating all the masks being made to the community that we're connected to, or really in high crisis. We do hope when we restart the program that we would integrate the mask making into one of the crafts that we do, and then we would sell through our website or other distributors.
That's great.
But right now, we are just providing to people who are incarcerated and to people who are homeless.
Who need them the most, absolutely. Well, I love the way they look and the style and the fabric, so I'm certainly going to be on top of that. So when they hit the website, I'm on it, definitely. So another question is for you is just, how can we help Refoundry right now? What can we do as citizens, as neighbors, to provide support to you? And yeah, if you could talk about that, that would be great.
Well, while the funds we get from support from foundations are great, we need additional support. So we want to grow the program much larger. So we have a GoFundMe campaign that people can contribute to. There, we also have on our website a donation tab. And in-kind donations. What we need now most are sewing machines. There's the GoFundMe campaign there. Sewing machines, fabrics. And one of the things that we learned, that we realized when we did this, we can't use fabrics with colors because the New York City Department of Corrections is concerned about how gangs associate with color and create problems. So we're really looking for fabrics that are white, gray, tan, beige, and black. That's what's allowed in. So all our masks are made with those, only fabrics of those colors.
Great.
So again, anyone who's interested in being a mentor, who knows how to sew, being a mentor, a sewing mentor to the participants in the Makers Make Masks program. And again, sewing machines, materials, fabrics, all that is very helpful.
Wonderful. And then we just want to ask you we kind of ask all of our guests this is, what does community mean to you? You know, what does mean, I can't speak, I'm tongue tied. What does it mean to be, a tenant at the Brooklyn Navy Yard? And if you could speak to that.
Thank you. That's a really good question. In general, what community means to me is being seen and listened to by those around you and in your community. Both small, and community starts in the family, and your neighborhood, and your city, and your state, and your country, and the world. And in all of those communities, being seen and being listened to, I think is, and the empathy that is built from that is what community means most, how I mostly define community. Being in the Navy Yard has been an unbelievable blessing. That community there, from the other tenants, from the leadership, from the maintenance crew to the security crew, are all so supportive of Refoundry and of each other. And we have, it's just a great environment there. It's filled with other makers who face the same issues and the same obstacles and have great empathy and admiration for what we're doing, and have been great in providing materials, supplies, mentorships, to our participants and to our program. It's just a wonderful, wonderful community. And I would say for our participants, that welcoming, that sense of being in something together, and not only in a similar activity and endeavor, but also in the same space. Mm-hmm. And the Navy Yard is actually self-enclosed. It's gated off. And it's actually a very good transition point for a lot of our participants, because there's a familiarity with being in that enclosed environment, that coming home from prison and re-entering society, particularly for people who've been in prison for a long time, can be very frightening and intimidating. Even crossing the street can be overwhelming. So to be able to be in a place that is supportive and safe and secure, where you're accepted, and that is enclosed, that does have that kind of warmth and familiarity part of incarceration in a very different version of it, a much more positive version, has been very supportive and enhanced the program, I think, for the participants.
I think you just said that so eloquently, and I think that that's what most of us, want, is just to be seen and to be heard. And so I love that. As one of our viewers just commented, is just to see each other as human beings is just so important. And to have empathy for one another. And I think that's what we're really trying to do with, you know, this channel that we've created here, and just want to tell people about, you know, the people in our neighborhood, the business owners in our neighborhood, the entrepreneurs in our neighborhood, because there are so many stories that need to be shared. And I couldn't agree more with you about the Navy Yard just being such a welcoming hub for craftsmanship, technology, entrepreneurship. So please, please, please come and visit. Go check out Refoundry when you can. Book a turnstile tours to your new workspace. That might not be until next year, but you guys just have such a wonderful mission, and thank you so much for doing the work. So we just appreciate it so much.
Thank you for starting this program and for inviting us onto it. It's really been great. It's an honor, and it's great to see the kind of support that you're giving to makers throughout the Navy Yard and the community.
Well, thanks so much, Tommy, for coming on. If you could just kind of end with how people can find Refoundry, just your website, on social media, that would be great.
Yeah, we're at refoundry.org, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. They're all really engaging posts and videos on all those platforms. So please visit us, follow us, and get engaged and involved.
Excellent.
In any way you can.
Excellent words to end on.
I can say one thing too, is that when we do start up again, and our participants are producing a lot of furniture, it is a great way. Everybody knows in the country now, I think, what terrible waste, both of human capital, time, and financially, that our criminal justice system has, and what the legacy it imposes on people who go through it. But it's so overwhelming sometimes. People think, like, how can I make a difference? Well, everybody can participate in really meaningful, impactful criminal justice reform by doing what they do every day. Buying what they need. Use your dollars widely. Come visit Refoundry's site and our flea markets. Purchase those pieces. They'll have much greater value for you than their functionality and their design. They'll really tell stories and have meaning. And it's a great way to really participate in criminal justice reform in an active way. And tell those stories. Keep telling.
That's right. We've got to do our part and put our money, you know, where we believe, and companies that we believe in, and companies whose missions align with ours. And Refoundry is certainly one of those, and I should say nonprofits. But we want to end and just say that we do have a dear friend, Marge Kleinman, who is watching the program, and she's a very talented photographer. We had her on a couple weeks ago, and she's doing a series during COVID called Stoop Stories. So she might love to hit you up on Refoundry's new building to take some great portraits of you guys. So we will put you in touch, but we hope to see you IRL in real life as soon as we can.
You too. We look forward to that.
All right. Well, take care and be safe. Thank you so much again, Tommy. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.